On the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Old Guys Racing League Coffee Cup Round 6 at Daytona Roval. Today we're going to start things off a little bit different as we make a prayer for Mr. Bill Backer. I'd like you to all bow your heads, silence down. Listen to the prayer for Bill. Dear racing gods, or whoever's up there in the grandstands of the sky, we come to you today with a special request for our buddy Bill Backer, who's about to put his pedal to the metal in the speedy contraption of his that we effectively call a race car. Firstly, we ask for a solid grip on the steering wheel. May it not slip like a banana peel under his sweaty palms. Grant him brakes that grip like a clingy X, and tyres that stick to the track like gum on a shoe. Oh, and please bless his engine with the ferocity of 1,000 roaring lions, but also the reliability of a trusty old lawnmower. Because, let's face it, we don't want Bill's ride to sound like a lawnmower, but we also don't want it to break down like one either. Protect him from the perils of aggressive drivers and from any unexpected encounters with wildlife. And finally, if it's not too much to ask, could you sprinkle a bit of that beginner's luck dust on his helmet? We promise we won't let it get to his head. Much. In the name of speed, talk, and a touch of absurdity, we pray, Amen, and vroom vroom. Pray for Bill in YouTube chat, and let's hope he gets to the end of this race with his car in one piece. I am James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Bradley Dalton here this morning, who's going to be with us at this Daytona Roval, of course, the site of the 24-hour Daytona. It's site of NASCAR Truck Cup and Infinity here as well, and I'm sure it's going to be an epic race for you. Qualifying is coming up very shortly. That will be 10 minutes. Heat 1 will be 10 minutes, and then it will be a 40-minute race for the feature. After last time out at Silverstone, where it was Heat 1 winner was John Ouellette, with the feature winner being Jacob Elliott. But I think now we've had prayers, we've had it all. Now we can bring in Brad into the booth. Brad, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, good morning. Well, afternoon, morning, depending on where you're at, James. Yeah, that was first. That was touching. That was beautiful. I have to give that one to you. I'm sure Bill appreciates that. Yeah, I mean, it's Daytona this week. I don't know what else you could say about Daytona other than it's iconic, and I'm very glad to see Daytona make an appearance more often than just in January. Here in the OGRL, I like that they've brought it out now. I'm very happy to see it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one, right? Let's be real. We've been here hundreds of times. Everybody's around here has been here hundreds of times. These drivers should pretty well know this circuit inside and out, apart from the horseshoe to the Western Horseshoe to NASCAR Bend to the bus stop to all of it, right? They should, in general, know what is going to happen here today. It's going to be great racing. You're going to want to be in third place going into the final lap if you can make it through the bus stop, because your draft will be so heavy. You are likely to whiz through to the front right on that last corner. Very draft heavy dependent circuit here today with a few little twisties in the middle, and that's basically all they've got to contend with.
Yeah, it's a very simple circuit when you look at it, but I'll tell you right now, it does not feel simple to drive. But it is truly a simpler circuit compared to some other road courses here. As we go into qualifying, again, a track every driver should be familiar with. We should see times be very competitive. I know the practice times, looking at them, were extremely close and extremely competitive. I think a couple people kept some time up their sleeve there, though, and we're just kind of just running consistent race laps. But these guys here at OGRL, they really, really know what they're doing here with this coffee cup session, and it should set up be very well. We're waiting on people to get on track and start putting in times here, and as they do, this 10 minutes is going to tick down quick, and I would anticipate about a minute 47, minute 46 lap time, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I think you're not going to be far off the money there, to be honest with you. I think these guys would have put enough practice in to know this circuit. It's a very well-used circuit within iRacing. People can, you can go out and practice on it and everything else. What do we think in the spread of cars, though? Because we've got the Porsches, as we know, and they generally do want to kill you as soon as look at you. We've got the Audi, we've got the BMW, we've got the Ferrari, we've got the Mercedes. We've got them all. Which car do we think is going to come out on top here?
Just judging by the amount of Porsches in the field today, I want to tell you the Porsche, but if I have to think, I really want to say it's going to be a BMW or a Ferrari. But there's just so many Porsches on the field, and the Porsche is very nimble in that infield section that it's very 50-50 for me of who it's going to be that comes ahead. I want to say the Ferrari, just for straight line speed and just the ability to carry speed through the banking and through the NASCAR turns. But the Porsche is very nimble on the infield. It's going to give it a little bit of an advantage there. And then that will also give it an advantage going through the bus stop. So it's 50-50. I don't think the Mercedes is going to have a great time here, just because, as everyone knows, the Mercedes likes to go backwards. It thinks it's in Swan Lake and not a race.
It does not. It only likes it if you're going to smash the throttle. Be gentle, as we've said. Treat it like a fine lady. Give it a cuddle. Take it out for dinner. Be nice to it, and she'll be nice to you.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, though, is that one time you aren't is where that happens. The BMW is very nice and well-rounded, James, but the thing with it is it's nice and well-rounded. It doesn't have anything it really kicks off on and specializes in. It's a very comfortable, well-rounded car. It's a very nice car to you, but it's not going to give you the best. So just because of the sheer amount of Porsches, I'm going to say it's probably going to be a Porsche up front today. And just based on our experience here in OGRL, I am going to say Porsches are going to have a good day today. Yeah,
I don't want to agree with you because me and Porsches, as we're going to see Michael Dioni go over the line, we're going to start seeing times coming up very quickly here. Hamby on a 1:45.5, Dioni on a 1:45.796, already protracted quicker than what we thought. There he is, the man himself, the myth, the legend. Have a look at the Ferrari now, because it might not be in that condition by the time it gets through at the end of the race. And I want to pick up on the back there, and he's even put on the back after a comment I made last week, stop looking up my skirt. Let's put on the back there for Bill Becker. Again, after a comment that from myself last week as well. he's had a rough one, right? We both sat here in the green room and said he's a good driver. He's just been one of them that just finds himself in the wrong place at the wrong time and then ends up losing body parts as if it's like, you know, don't pin the tail on a donkey where it all just flips everything off, doesn't it? It kind of ends up like that, does Bill.
Yeah, and, you know, unfortunately, that's kind of the nature of racing, is sometimes you just catch yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time, week after week after week. It's like, I don't know, I can't think of a team off the top of my head right now that runs those kind of issues, but it is genuinely, sometimes you're just wrong place, wrong time, and you catch it week after week, and the thing is, it can't hurt Bill's confidence. He's got to keep things going. He's got to keep pushing. And going to Daytona, I like to think of Daytona as neutral ground for everyone. Everyone knows this track. Everyone should be comfortable. We shouldn't see any sort of egregious moments at Daytona. Now, that being said, James, if something does come up, you know,
is Bill going to be there?
What can you do? That... I don't want to say yes, but I do want to say Bill needs to find his way into the 145s. Please, Bill.
Come on,
please.
Bill. Get up the front here as he's sitting in 10th at the moment on a 146. Elliott has gone up to the top of the standings. That is Jacob Elliott with Michael Dion and Sean Riley. Johnny Hamby, Felipe de Cruz, Daniel Nans, David Van Vrooy, Alan Purser, Richard Modric, John Ouellette, Laxton, and then Bill. But then we've got Nicholas Patterson, Justin Koch, and Heath Ollinger round out the top 15. Still haven't got times on the board from the likes of Robert Hadley, Richard Merriam, Hoskins, and Jesus Gonzalez. So we haven't got times on the board from them currently. So we'll wait to see if they can get anything on here. What about Justin Koch? How is he going to be doing tonight? Again, another Porsche. You said about the Porsche, though, but you've only got 2 in the top 10. Or, no, 4 in the top 10, sorry.
Yeah, I think it'll be the race where they shine. I think the issue is qualifying. They're lone qualifying. There's no draft. There's nothing really to help. So any of these cars that have the power on the speedway, which is the Audi, the Ferraris, the BMW, should be doing significantly better on that regard because they have the power through the high banking, through the oval, to keep things moving. Now, granted, I'm saying that, and I'm also seeing the Ferrari and the Audis that are down in 23rd, 24th, and 25th. But, again, we have the bus stop. We have the infield section. I think the race is where we're really going to see everything kind of settle up and make sense. And once we get some draft involved, that's where I think we're going to see big, big action here. David Vinroy in P7 in a BMW. I think there might be a little more in terms of just straight line speed and power down the banking.
Yeah,
BMWs can give, which is why they're moving up a little bit more.
I think so as well, and I think the BMWs can be strong, and I don't dispute the fact that they're not. That, you know, they're the curb munching machines. One of the things I think they're going to have to worry about, though, is obviously if you take the curbs too much, especially coming out of the bus stop, there's a nice little slowdown waiting for you there. So you don't want to be doing anything silly on that aspect, I think, overall, do you? Because it does end up then becoming counterintuitive to take the curves as much as you can, but then getting a slowdown when you come out the other side. And one of the things you do want to avoid are slowdowns in general, because otherwise your race can go from hero to zero in, well, very quickly.
Yeah, and it's a very, very fine line in the bus stop for the curbs. It is genuinely, you can hit the curb. Well, this is me speaking from personal experience. You can go over the curb the same way 3 times, and one of those 3 times you'll get a slowdown, and you're going to sit and look and say, but why? I hit it the same way. Now, granted, that's me. That's probably a lack of skill being involved more than anything. But
didn't want to say
it
that.
is a very fine line there in the bus stop between catching the curb right and catching the curb wrong and bouncing out. And, you know, if you lose the draft here in Daytona, it is race over. It is a very, very bad day if you lose the draft, because then it becomes not just a matter of, you know, tenths of a second in the mix. You're going to be seconds off the pace.
Yep. Very draft heavy as we're watching David Van Rooy come over the line. He's got 3 greens on the board at the moment. Is he going to get another one as he goes through the Geico restart zone? There is the checkered flag. Where did David Van Roy put himself? Last time out, 45.81. This time, funny enough, 45.81. So no real improvements for David Van Roy. Brian Hoskins, another man that's got about 15 seconds to get over the line. I'm trying to work out if he's on NASCAR 3 and 4. He is 4-3. He's not going to make that. Sorry, sir. Oh, he did. How close was he, though? That's the question. Goes into 24th place. Let's bring you up the grid. For race 1, Jacob Elliott is your pole man with Michael Dione in second, Sean Riley in third, Felipe de Cruz in fourth, Johnny Hamby in fifth with Dan Nans in sixth, David Venroy in seventh, Alan Purser in eighth, Richard Modric in ninth, John Ouellette in 10th with Justin Laxton in 11th, and Bill Backer, Pray for Bill, rounding out the top 12. Nicholas Patterson in 13th, Justin Koch in 14th, Heath Hollinger 15th, Ryan Miriam in 16th, Jonathan Williams 17th, Kevin Adrian 18th, Steve Parker Hamilton all the way down in 19th with Sean Bastarash alongside him. Bad one for them too. Eric Gainzel in 21st, JT Sawyer in 22nd, Michael Chaplin down in 23rd, and Brian Hoskins did get a time and puts himself up into 24th. Clark Wolf in 25th, Scott Carlson, Jesus Gonzalez, Ulrich Eisenberg, Cole Modric and Robert Hadley round out the top 30, and then Russell Crowe and then Robert Hartley Road round out the top 32. Russell Crowe doing a great job. No relation, we don't think, do we, Brad, to the real Russell Crowe?
I don't think so. However, if there is relation, I figured Russell Crowe would be further up, but it doesn't look like Russell Crowe put in the time.
So maybe he's not entertained. Maybe that
Probably not.
Could be the problem. Russell Crowe's just not entertained here at Daytona. So let's see what happens now as we're going round on this pace lap. We are starting on the top side of the circuit just before the bus stop, so we've got half a lap pace lap, and then we will be running for the first 10 minutes. We're going to keep a frantic eye as close as we're physically allowed to look at the man in 12th place. He has had frills, he's had spills, he's had spins, and definitely never wins, is the one and only Bill Backer, the man whose skirt was empty last week, and before that it was literally the front end was completely disappeared. But let's see how he gets on. Where is everybody? We've only got 19 in the session and we had more times on the board than that, so maybe people just not taking to the start, which is a little bit strange. But let's see as this comes up. Well, that's a bit of a weird one with all of these people in the session and then not everybody on the start line. Or am I? Oh, I'm starting to. Oh, there we go. Okay, give it a minute, obviously, as it starts settling down to people in and out and around. So we start getting more and more people on the race circuit, which is always good. Right. Who's going to win, Brad? The first one, quick.
Felipe de Cruz.
Okay, I'm going to go with Dione. I think he's going to have something in that BMW. But get your guesses in the YouTube chat. If you haven't watched the beginning, just go back and watch the beginning opening. I think you might enjoy it. So, right.
Very moving, very powerful.
It was. It was. Very, very well written. Right. Here we go.
Oh.
We're going to be coming into that restart zone. He's already gone. It's Jacob Elliott. You saw the shift in speed. And he has a green as he leads the way. Going down into turn one here for the opening lap of the 10-minute race we've got first. Then we go into that 14-minute feature. Don't go anywhere. Sit back. Hold on to your hats. Dione comes on in front of Riley. He's now going to look at defending the inside line. But it is Jacob Elliott taking the whole shot here to fall, well, literally through the International Horseshoe and on the run through the kink. And Jacob Elliott got a great start there.
Yeah, Jacob Elliott gets away well. Michael Dione there in P2 just sticking along, holding on. And this is just a 10-minute heat, so there's no sense in holding back. There's no sense in holding anything off. Get going, and just keep moving through. Something has happened in the background there. There's John Uliet, who is moving around. What happened there? Please don't tell me that Bill's involved.
Well, he's not involved in this one. Uliet's gone in far too hot there. He's going to try and hold their brakes. He's going to go round. There goes Bastarash is going to get stuck up there. Adrian as well. They've all kind of checked up. There goes Sean. Too much power there, young buddy, I'm afraid, for you. And he has gone around the race circuit. So Bill didn't get caught up in that one, but he did do this.
Oh, no. Okay, he gets away. He's going well. We're down the race start. He's on the outside there. The Porsche on the end. And he snaps through. And comes around. Oh. That was close. That was very, very close. And, yeah, Bill's already out of the heat down in 31st place. Bill and John Uliet are both out, and we're only 2 minutes in.
Yeah, we definitely are there. And Jacob Elliott is at the front of the field. So Jacob doing a great job with everybody. Ulet's out currently, I believe he's down at the back. I realise what the problem is with that timing tower. You are going to have to give me 2 minutes after this race to correct that, as I have figured out why that has gone like that. David Van Roy and Dan Nans and Kevin Adrian down here with Rick Modric having a battle with Steve Parker Hamilton as these guys continue to fight it on. But it is Jacob Elliott, Michael Dione at the top of the order, going off now through down into turn 6, and which will be leading them on to 7. Here is turn 7 now. The tricky left-hander cannot go stamping onto the power too early, because otherwise your back end may just want to come around and say hello. But for these guys, there's no such trouble as they run round through NASCAR 1 and 2. Sean Riley, however, has got Johnny Hamby behind him. And then Felipe de Cruz, Nans, Van Roy and Purser all behind that. Purser's in a bit of that no man's land, Brad, that we spoke about. He's got a gap in front and a gap behind, and he's not really getting help from anyone there.
Yeah, Purser is very much needing to find a way forward. I think the draft may help a little bit, but is almost too far back to really take advantage. You can see that gap, 1.8, 1.9 seconds as they come out of the bus stop, and it's going to continue to just open up through as we watch Nans and Roy here battle around and go through, and there is Nans getting passed by Roy. BMW on BMW crime, and we keep things going, and BMW seems to be dominating the top 10 right now, but you can see that the Porsche is not to be slacked on. The Porsche is keeping things going here. We're 6 minutes left to go. Cruz has passed Hamby up ahead, and here we go. It's a BMW on BMW again. 3 wide going through. I don't know. And that is why you have to respect turn 1.
Yeah.
Turn 1 is very, very dangerous.
Yeah, it definitely is, and that is why there is that problem there. I will fix the issue with the timing tower. We haven't just got 20 cars running, there are more, but I will fix the issue with the timing tower once we go into a quick break here as well. This is all stemming from the fact of a complete restall on my PC, and as I did say to Brad during the when we was in the green room, there's always something that's going to pop up, and unfortunately it has popped up. But for Jacob Elliott, nothing has come into problems for him, with Dione in second. Sean Riley, however, getting a push from Felipe de Cruz, with Johnny Hamby down in 5th place at the moment. Of course, Johnny's leading the championship here by 21 points over Jacob Elliott, Laxton, Bradley Lovins and Michael Dione. So Hamby is going to be looking at possibly losing points to Dione and Elliott in race 1. Oh, your boy's looking feisty here.
Yeah, Felipe de Cruz is right there in the mix. Watch how the draft helps the BMW here, going through Speedway 3 and 4 down onto the tri-oval, and look at this again, just stick behind, hold the draft. It's going to help him build up a speed advantage here as we go through, and now as we hit the tri-oval, he's got to make a decision. Does he want to go high? Does he want to go low? And it looks like in this case, he's going to try to pick the high line. Riley's going to defend it. There we go, inside hard on the brakes. You got to be careful here. Be very, very careful of the downhill left-handed braking, and there it is. Felipe de la Cruz up into P3, and now it is going to be Riley under pressure by Hamby as we keep things moving here on just 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, Hamby is now pushing onto the back of Riley. Is Riley going to be able to hold on as we're coming in to the last 4 minutes? Well, time will tell very shortly. And is Dione going to be able to clear Elliott? That's going to be the question as we head off around turn 7 before we get going again for the rundown into the bus stop. Unfortunately, the car on the top left of your track map there is Cole Modric, and he has lost a draft. He's lost all sorts of everything at the moment, and now he's just driving around completely on his own. We have lost, however, Ulrich Eisenberg, John Uhle, and Bill Becker from race 1. Not Eisenberg. Eisenberg is there, sorry. We've lost Uhle and Becker, Crow, I believe, as well. But it looks like there's nice little battles developing all the way through the field here, Brad. Some great action from these guys as expected. And now we've got Sean Riley with Johnny Hamby tucked up right behind him.
Yeah, who is that running the Rexy livery? Because I want to give them a hug and tell them they probably have my favorite livery in the session. Of course, I am a big fan of AO Racing in real life IMSA, so I love to see that the Rexy livery has made its way here, and I think it's a fan favorite all the way around. Everyone loves the Rexy Porsche.
Do they though?
I do. Most of my photos I got from the Rolex were of Rexy and Spike going around. AO Racing, a pretty small team actually that's gotten a big following and huge fan support through here. And, you know, if we could channel that into the OGRL, I think some of the teams would be pretty happy. Some of the drivers would be pretty happy to see that. But, I mean, it's competitive battling all the way through, James. As you said, it's very, very close top to bottom. There's battles pretty much anywhere you want to take a look here. And that is Heath Ollinger that is running the Rexy livery. Now that I know that, I am quite happy because I'll be able to pick him out every time.
Yeah, Heath Ollinger is in the green Porsche. You can see it there. It comes round through turn 5 and then down into 6 and 7. So a great job from him. Got 147. There's going to be one more, I believe, after this before we enter on to the last lap. And currently it is Jacob Elliott with Michael Dione or nearly a second back with the Cruise in no man's land as such with Sean Riley and Johnny Hamby. Great opening round for these guys. Stellar job, haven't they, really, when you think about it? And at the end of the day, it's a battle of survival, and they've survived.
Yeah, the 10-minute sprint, there's two things you don't want to do. You don't want to wreck, and you want to keep things going. You want to move up, but you don't want to wreck. So if that means you just finish where you started, then you've had a pretty successful 10-minute race. Because, of course, remember, we have the 40-minute main event after this little heat. And here we go, BMW side-by-side. That's Vinroy and Nans going through side-by-side. And that is going to be Nans ahead of Vinroy now. Going into turn 1. Again, tricky left-hander, though. So don't be surprised if Vinroy gets a run back here and tries to get another pass done as they go down into the International Horseshoe. And it looks like at the moment they are going to just settle back behind. Runs a slightly different line, but then they've also got Laxton and Purser right behind for company. The top's opened up, but the battle for P3 back is still there. But then again, I think Elliott and Dione might have a good battle coming into the final lap here.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. They're going to get that run through out of turn 7, of course, and then down into NASCAR. I don't think Dione's going to be close enough, you know. He's 1.3 behind this man. I just don't think he's going to have the pace in that BMW. I've got to be honest, Brad. I think it's game over.
Yeah, the gap's opening up. It's closing as we hit the backstretch, but we'll see how it is out of the bus stop because that's going to be the real determining point for me of where it's at. Sean Riley is slowly closing the gap up there on Felipe de Cruz, and you can see the gaps, especially on the speedway section, can ebb and flow a lot. You can have a big battle develop out of nowhere through the speedway section, but there it is, out of the bus stop. It's opening back up, so yeah, Dione is not close enough to Elliott to bring a challenge here coming out of Speedway 4.
Yeah, I think Jacob Elliott's going to take this one. He's going to come over the line. He's going to win the first race of this morning, and it is Jacob Elliott takes the victory with Michael Dione in second. De Cruz is going to hold on for that third place with Sean Riley coming along the line. And now this is where we're talking about with Laxton and Nans. Oh! Ouch.
That was close.
Yeah, definitely was. There's more coming through here. Heath Adrian, Heath Ollinger, and we've got Brian Hoskins. He's coming over the line in that Porsche. He's tucked up behind the Mercedes of Eric Gainzel. Ulrich Eisenberg and Michael Chaplin are still running further down. And then we're going to wait for 25th and 26th. 26th being Cole Modric in the Soul Lamborghini. Long way back at the moment, coming all the way through the bus stop. So we've got to wait for them to finish. Well, wasn't too bad, was it?
I know. I mean, good battles all the way through. Nothing, crazy, egregious. Nothing that caught my eye. Just close, competitive racing. A little bit of an incident there at the International Horseshoe at the top, but I mean, you're going to have that in pretty much every Daytona race. If anyone's ever ran a public Daytona race, one, I feel sorry for you, and two, to expect a little bit of chaos on the first half of the lap through the infield section for the first time. But everybody's surviving, and the Soul Lamborghini comes across in 26th place. And James, that sets us up with that 10-minute heat done, and now it is the main feature race coming up next.
Yeah, well, here are the results. It will be Jacob Elliott, your winner, Michael Dione in second, Felipe de Cruz in third, Sean Riley in fourth, then Johnny Hamby and David Van Roy. Then we've got Daniel Nans, Laxton, Purser, Patterson rounding out the top 10. The triple P, or the double P at the bottom there, Purser and Patterson. Then you've got Modric, Koch, Adrian, Parker, Hamilton, Ollinger, Williams, Gainzel and Hoskins. Further on is Scott Carlson, Clark Wolf, Sean Bastarach, Gonzalez, Ulrich Eisenberg, Michael Chaplin, Ryan Merriam, Cole Modric, and then we've got JT Sawyer, Hartley Road, Hadley, Ouellette, Bakker, and Crow rounding out the final positions. Guys, we're just going to jump back on to the start screen for 2 seconds. I want to sort out my issue that I've got here, and we'll be right back shortly. Okay, we are back. Hopefully that has resolved the issue that I had in race 1 as we go into a brief little warm-up here. Where do we think this 40 minutes is going to go, right? We knew that the first corner is always difficult. Coming off that high banking under a rolling start, then you've got to drop down to the left-hander. It's always going to be difficult in general. Where would you place your car, though, Brad, if you're in the middle?
If I'm in the middle, I want to be on the inside because I want to make sure that I don't get randomly hit from the left or any way that I'm not expecting. Because if you look at that turn 1, the way it sets up, it's the downhill left-hand banking. And the cars naturally, if they mess up that corner, are going to just go wide and go to the right towards that tire barrier. And you don't want to be a bowling pin in the way of the bowling balls coming out. So you want to be on the inside line, I think, at the race start for turn 1 and turn 2. Because as you can see, they run it wide and then cut back in. If someone misses that braking point, they're going straight in that tire barrier on the outside. So you want to just run it wide or run it inside, take a tighter line, and then just hope that nobody hits you from behind, honestly.
Well, there you go. Great advice from Brad and very simple advice. Take the tight line, you should get hit. Let's see if that one works out here for any of these drivers going into this feature race, the 40 minutes. And unfortunately for Cole Modric, he is off driving 3 minivans, which is quite impressive, and then does that.
Yeah,
So is that what you mean by taking the tighter line?
Sure. I mean, I remember when I went to the Rolex, I sat there for a while and watched, and I think a Lamborghini randomly showing up for me to give it a very nice, close, detailed inspection would have been fun. But maybe not hit people's RVs because I'm sure insurance companies don't want to get that phone call of a what hit you where?
Yeah, can you imagine that on the thing? How did the accident happen? Well, I went off at Daytona, and this Lamborghini went off at Daytona and come and punted the side of the RV.
Yeah, let's not make that phone call.
And I can guarantee you as well, Brad, the insurance company will probably still get out of it by saying that the RV shouldn't have been at the roadside and you weren't insured for accidental repairs at a racetrack.
Oh, for sure. You already know that they're not going to want to pay for that, but they, yeah, no, that's that would be an interesting phone call. I don't know that I want to make that phone call, James.
No, me neither. But there we go. Let us know, guys, if you are in chat. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, and do all that other fancy jazz, as we've got some great FTR racing coming up later on. 5 classes, 60 cars, with the Mustang, the Renault Clio, the GR86, the VW Jetta, and the Mazda MX-5 is the 5 classes. So the car's not very far apart in brake horsepower whatsoever. Come along for that one. We've also got IGP Super Formula Lights a little bit later. I've also been told that there could be some rain in the IGPs, so if you want to see how these Super Formulas handle in the rain, pop by later on. The broadcast goes live at about 9:20 in the evening from Hockenheim, and the FTR goes off about 8 p.m. and we're at Circuit de Ledenen. I've never been there, but that's going to be an interesting one for me.
Yeah, I haven't been there either, so I think that'll be a fun one. I'm definitely going to be watching. I won't be commentating on it, but I will definitely be tuning that on and watching.
All right, so let's bring you up the grid for race number 2, and it is Jacob Elliott, your pole man, with Michael Dioni in second, Philippe de Cruz in third, Sean Riley in fourth, Johnny Hamby in fifth, and David Venroy in sixth, Dan Nans in seventh, Justin Laxton eighth, Alan Purser in ninth, Nicholas Patterson in 10th, Richard Modric in 11th, with Justin Koch down in 12th. On from that, Kevin Adrian, Stephen Parker Hamilton in 13th and 14th, respectively. Heath Ollinger, Jonathan Williams, Eric Gainzell, Brian Hoskins, Scott Carlson, Clark Wolf, Sean Basterach didn't really go forward, got himself caught up at the beginning. Jesus Gonzalez in 22nd, Ulrich Eisenberg 23rd, and Michael Chapman down in 24th place. Okay, can we behave? Thank you very much. And then on from that, Ryan Merriam, Cole Modric, JT Sawyer, Robert Hartley Road, Robert Hadley, John Ouellette, Bill Backer down in 31st, and I believe Russell Crowe, who did not get on to the grid. So hopefully we will have some great racing overall. Bill Backer down in 30th. A little bit worrying.
I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be okay because he can see the incidents and avoid them and work his way forward. However, I'm a little nervous still. I'm not gonna lie. I don't. Poor Bill. Poor Bill, man.
Poor Bill. Pray for Bill, guys. Get him in. Hashtag pray for Bill in YouTube chat here as we're starting a movement up on JPB, praying for the one, the only Bill Backer, who's hopefully will complete the race, at least one this season, with car parts on his car. So, and if you haven't watched it back, or any of the OGRL, you don't have a clue what we're talking about. If you go and watch them back, you will see what we mean. But the starting gantry lights are coming on. We're going to have 40 minutes of racing. Just waiting for these guys to go over the line. Then we can kick on and get moving. They have gone now. Pace car is in. And there he goes again. Jacob Elliott makes a dash for it right at the beginning. Michael Dioni there as well. De Cruz has got alongside Sean Riley going into turn 1. Hamby's got alongside David Van Roy. What about the inside line? Is it all working? As Brad said, at the moment it seems to be kicking in quite nicely. No real dramas. They're 3 wide back here with Modric and Chapman. That's never good. There's a Team 53 of John Ouellette behind him. He's going to try and make his way forward as well. But at the moment, Brad, all good in the hood.
Yeah, everybody taking a very relaxed, respectable race start here and just getting going. They understand that this feature is 40 minutes long, so they know that they need to give it a little bit of breathing room here. There's no sense in making any unnecessary lunges in turn 1. Nobody's trying anything too crazy here, and we are still running with 31 cars that I can see. The only car I see that has had a problem is Daniel Nans, who is down 24 places on that race start. We'll see if we can pick up exactly what happened there. But as they hit the speedway here, turn 1, turn 2, it is once again the Jacob Elliott show.
Yeah, Dan Nans went off right near the beginning, I believe. And unfortunately, it had a moment there. Oh, no, we're not. Can we have a look? Where are you, Dan? Oh, okay. Oh.
Oh, I saw a spin.
I saw a spin as well. Caught it towards the end there. Not entirely sure what was happening, but unfortunately, we couldn't seem to get the rest of the action on your screen. We'll have another look a little bit, try and get another look later on. David Van Roy with Johnny Hamby as these guys coming around to complete lap 1. Van Roy trying to make his way forward, but it is Elliott, Dion, Riley and Cruz leading the way as Hamby's looking now. Which way is he going to go? Is he going to take the inner? Is he going to take the outer? Or is he just going to sit there, Brad? What do you think should he be doing with 38 minutes on the clock?
I think right now it depends on what your race goals are. If you want to survive, then sitting there is fine. But if you're looking for a win, you need to keep moving forward, because the more the gaps open up, the less slipstream there's going to be. And the less slipstream, the harder it is to catch. And the harder it is to catch, the less likely a chance you have of doing it. So if you want to move forward, you need to start moving forward now. And also, your man Bill Baca is up in 21st place at the moment, up 10 places. So I think the prayer for Bill for this race is working a little bit here. Yeah,
there he is, the man in his Ferrari from Canada. One, Mr. Bill Baca, chasing down Cole Modric in the Lamborghini. He's got Jesus Gonzalez behind him. So Baca still managing to make his way through. I've got him at 25th at the moment. Gained 6 here. Cole Modric is in front of him, up 2 places. Can Bill get any further up though? And if so, how much further can he get? Because this group are losing time at the moment.
Yeah, I've got him in 21st, up 10 with Cole Modric ahead. So something interesting there we'll have to work out in a little bit, in a moment, to see exactly what's happening. But they are losing time to the cars ahead, and they do need to work on making their way forward as much as possible and trying to get things going. In the lead there, it's Jacob Elliott with Sean Riley, and that gap is just not moving at all for the top 2. They are sitting very, very still here, and I don't see any issues happening for Jacob Elliott as long as he just keeps things consistent and smooth.
Yeah, and Dione unfortunately has lost a place to Riley. So Michael Dione losing a place. He's now got Cruz behind him, and Riley 7 tenths in a row. Audi's looking quite strong at the end of Cruz here. I'm quite impressed with how it's got on, to be fair. A circuit that, although should be suited to it, you just never quite know if he is.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Audi. There's tracks where you think it should be suited and it's not. There's tracks where you think it's not suited and is. The Audi is a real wild card to me, and it's very, very unpredictable sometimes. It's very setup dependent, it seems. If the driver behind sets it up the right way, they can have a good race weekend, or it can be abysmal. It's 50-50 which way it's going to go. It's very hard to tell every once in a while, because the other 2 Audis we have is Clark Wolf and Ryan Merriam, who are down in 27th and 31st on my screen respectively. And then you have an Audi in the top 4 with Cruz, who's basically still in the run for the win.
Yeah, he definitely is. The question is, can he make it forward? He's got the time coming down. Dione's also got time increasing with Riley. Dione looks like he's got the bus stop a little bit more peaked on than Cruz. Is this going to be Cruz's opportunity to make this through here, Brad? He's definitely got a run at Dione at the moment.
Yeah, Cruz has the slipstream there on Dione, and as he holds that slipstream coming out of Speedway 4 onto the main straight, you can see he's going to peak high, and Dione's going to look up to defend, and there it is. He goes up high. He is now side by side with him as they hit the tri-oval. He's running the high line, and he's going to slip back in. Actually, he's going to try to cut it down low as he wants to get 2 positions at once, and Dione defends the inside line, so Cruz will slide back around the outside. But look at this. Dione and Riley are now going to start holding each other up, and what can Cruz do to get in the mix as well as we keep watching this run around? And Cruz settles back a little bit and is in 4th. Patterson back in the background here with a bit of a run, and behind that it is going to be Koch, Adrian, and Purser that are all keeping each other company, but Patterson's in a bit of no man's land here and is trying to just get the runaway on Coke. But with the pack behind, it is going to produce a problem there for our P8 driver.
It is, because he's not going to have any draft going forward. He's got to be quicker than the guys in front. And at the moment for Patterson, he's doing what's he did last time out, 148.06. The guys in front, 146s. So that's a 2-second spread. But look at this gaggle of cars behind Justin Coke with Kevin Adrian, Alan Purser, Rich Modric, Eric Gainzel, Sean Bastarash, Steve Parker, Heath Ollinger, Brian Hoskins, Scott Carson, Michael Chaplin, and John Ouellette. They're all behind them. So great gaggle of battles going on further through the field here, Brad. And Bill Backer is also on the track. He is fighting it out at the moment. That's JT Sawyer and Jesus Gonzalez behind him, and Gonzalez in that Mercedes chasing down Backer in the Ferrari.
Yeah, Gonzalez with the slipstream here going down the banking as we head down the backstretch towards the bus stop here, and you can see he's looking slightly different line and was thinking about a move. He's braking a bit earlier there, and Bill Backer doing very well to keep things moving here. Oh, that's a big moment in the bus stop.
Backer survived. That was John Ouellette and Cole Modric. Ouellette in the Porsche, Cole Modric in the Lamborghini. The Lambo gets, oh no, Modric, he got all wrong. Backer takes to the grass and avoids it. And, oh, that is close from everybody else in and around them front guys there as well. So, yeah, some great action further back. Unfortunately, an incident there for John Ouellette, who nearly ended up with everybody piling into him in a very bad place on the exit, well, near enough on the exit of the bus stop.
Yeah, so from that, it was John Ouellette, Cole Modric, Ryan Merriam, Ulrich, and Stephen Parker Hamilton that were kind of caught up in the mix of that, and they've all dropped down a bit. Through up front here, it is still, second verse, same as the first. It's Dion, Riley, and Cruz that are continuing to keep things going. The gaps are opening a little bit, but everyone's still staying fairly consistent. This battle right here for P9 with Coke starting out is where things are real exciting. It's Coke, Adrian, Purser, Modric, the big 4-car battle for P9 as it stands. They've got a big gap ahead, and they've got a bit of a gap there behind the 4 of them. And look at this, the run that the BMW gets. Purser there around, going through. Can he get Coke into the bus stop? He makes a late lunge on the inside and does get that through. Coke with great heads-up driving lets that BMW through. But now it's slipstream out of the bus stop here, James. And as we run through Speedway 3 and 4, slipstream is going to prove powerful going into turn 1.
Yeah, I'm expecting Coke to come back through if he's going to make the move down into turn 1 at the moment. Coke in the Porsche, he's surrounded and sandwiched between 2 BMWs. Adrian has got the draft on Coke. Coke's not really got the pull on Purser as they go past the Geico restart zone down into turn 1 now. They're going to drop off the banking. Purser's gone out to the outside. Adrian's now washed out to the behind him as they're going round turn 1. It is going to be Purser, it is going to be Adrian, and Coke just got turn 1 all wrong there, Brad, and couldn't quite make it stick as much as he wanted to.
Yeah, I think Coke was looking to make a lunge or make a move happen there around the outside of 1, and Purser just made sure it wouldn't happen. So Adrian just kind of collected and said, okay, if you're going to take a different line that doesn't work for you, I'll just go ahead and take a normal line and make it work for me. So Adrian doing very well there with Coke through. This is the battle for P3. Dion under pressure by Cruz. The Audi catching up significantly on the infield here and is going to have a run down the banking here. You can see slightly different lines there on the exit. Dion opts to run very wide and Cruz opts to stay in the inside line and keep things moving. And as we slipstream here down the back stretch, the gap 3/10. Watch how quickly it closes on your timing tower. 3/10 to 2.5. We should be at about 2/10 by the time we hit the bus stop. And you can see there that Cruz breaks a little bit earlier than Dion to get that Audi rotated. And as we exit here, again, it's slipstream all the way down to turn 1. Can Cruz capitalize?
Well, he's going to definitely have a good old go because he's going to now get the slipstream again for the second time. It's down to 3-3 on the left-hand side. It's 3-2, 3-1. Now we're going to start seeing Dead Cruz suck in Dion like a hoover here, and now he's going to try and get him coming down into the turn one. Is he going to make the inside work? He's going to try to cut back. You can see him lined up there. He's going to try and cut round him. Now he's got to make a decision. Does he get hard on the brakes and try to cut back? Dion covers off the inside. Nowhere for Cruz to go. What's going on with Purser and Adrian? Well, Adrian is still battling it out with Coke, and Purser's still in the front of the three here. So a couple of groups materialising once more. I'm keeping an eye on the incident log and making sure there is no name from the Canadian, who is, I've got down in 19th, I believe, at the moment, is Bill Backer. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But great developments all the way through. And Michael Dion and De Cruz, well, they're right next to each other, going on to that banking once more here, Brad. Surely it's got to be the bus stop this time around.
Yeah, Cruz is just a little bit closer this time. Dion has done very well, though, at placing that BMW just the right way to defend. And remember, we're only 12 minutes in to this race. We've still got 28 minutes to go, so it could be that Cruz is just holding out a little bit and kind of just waiting to see what happens here. But I do think that Dion is going to be feeling the pressure here. Look at this gap under 0.2 of a second as we hit the bus stop, and Cruz could have had a lunge there, could have thought about it, but opts better. Gets wiggly through the bus stop. You can see just how uncompliant the Audi is in that bus stop in that very aggressive turn. And now the gap opens up. The gap's over 1.1 seconds. You can see just how much of a difference losing that speed makes, and then losing the draft is just going to compound the misery.
Yeah, Alan Purser, Kevin Adrian, and Justin Coke. We're in the cockpit with Coke. He's got some beautiful purple LEDs here in that Porsche. He's starting to close in. He's got Rick Modric for company. He's losing a bit of time to the guys in front. He's got to make sure he holds on to that draft through in over the start-finish line just about now. And Coke did manage to hang on. Adrian, however, hung on very closely to Purser. You can see them in the two BMWs. It is 5 BMWs in the top 10. 3 Porsches, 1 Audi. So great little battle going on. Nope, that can't be right. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 BMWs in the top 10, sorry, as I can't do maths clearly at this time of the afternoon. And we've got an Audi and some Porsches in the mix, but it is Purser, it is Adrian as they're coming down now to turn 5 before they go round turn 6 and 7 and back onto the banking once more. Banking and over and draft playing a massive part as we're going into the last 25 minutes, Brad.
Yeah, and banking and draft always play a big part whenever you come here to Daytona. It's something that you have to just be prepared for. It doesn't matter whether you're running the road course, the oval course, and a cup car. You just have to know that the draft is important, and it's due to the size of the track, and it's due to the high-speed nature of this track. Aerodynamics will always play a big part. Coming through NASCAR 1 and 2, going out of the bus stop and hitting NASCAR 3, 4, the tri-oval. You just have to know it, and you have to make sure you're using that to your advantage as much as possible. You can see Purser and Adrian pulling out on Modric here, just enough that I believe Modric should be out of the draft now. Maybe just over a second is enough to get a little bit of a run, but the gap's still opening a little bit here. So as these guys keep things going, and Hamby getting a good run on Cruz actually up in 4th place, which I was not expecting to see. And there we go. Can the Lego car build it around the outside? Does not there. The Porsches keep trying to hang that around the outside in turn 1, and I don't know why they're doing it. It does not work for them, but they keep trying it.
Yeah, I think it really does depend on the car position in front, right? If your car position has got the inside line, there's really nowhere else you can go apart from around the outside. That's the problem, isn't it? They've got to make sure that if they're going to, they've got to get a run out of the final bus stop, and they've got to get that car off the inside line. Otherwise, they're stuck where they're stuck, and they've got to try what they can try. And unfortunately, at the moment, the Porsches can't get the outside line to work. BMW seems strong. The Audi seems strong as well at the hands of De La Cruz. So all in all, it's a tough one for the Porsches. They've got to find something, and they've got to find it quick. Obviously, for one of our Porsches, Mr. Jacob Elliott, who's out in front, pulling points out the championship leader, which is Johnny Hamby, he's doing a great job, and it looks like he's going to wrap up 2 for 2.
Yeah, if I was any other Porsche on the grid right now, I'd be calling up Elliott, and I'd be saying, hey, what what have you done different? What'd you do setup wise? Is it just a driving style thing? What have you done to make that GT3 Porsche all the way up? Because he has pulled out a 2-second gap, is continuing to pull gap lap after lap on Riley. So, I mean, I don't know what it is. Riley was faster last lap, but even then, he's still more consistent, I think, than Sean Riley. So Jacob Elliott, very, very good position up in the lead. And Cruz, yet again, in a big mix there in 4th place as they come around the tri-oval here, down into turn 1. So this battle is just going to continue to heat up. Look at this. Look at this. They're within a 10th, and that Porsche continues to wash out in turn 1. I don't see Elliott doing it, so I don't know what it is with Hamby that Lego Porsche is not making turn 1 work.
Is he not getting it stopped quick enough? Is that the problem? He's not getting on the brakes quick enough to get that car rotated, because clearly he's got an issue, right? And clearly that there's a problem there going into that turn 1. So surely you would brake a little bit earlier, would you not, to try and get it slowed down in time?
Yeah, but the issue is if he starts braking a little bit earlier, he's got a hungry BMW breathing down his neck there of David Van Roy. So it's very much a compromise. I don't know if it's braking too late or if it's genuinely maybe just a small brake bias adjustment that can be done. That would be up to the driver and how the driver feels the car is handling. But yeah, I mean, man, it's very, very nip and tuck back and forth. Something has happened to our friend Bill Baca, because Bill is now from 20th on my screen to 28th. So I don't know exactly what's happened to Bill.
I can't find anything. I'm going to see here, but it looks like he just disconnects. Unfortunately for Bill, he's just gone. I can't actually see where anything constructive happens. He gone there. What about Ryan Merriam? Has Ryan actually cleared him? Nope, he's gone as well. So for Bill, unfortunately, it's past Steve Parker Hamilton here. So I'm not entirely sure why all of a sudden he's just disconnected.
Let's see here, possibly an incident into turn 1. I don't know.
No. He just all of a sudden goes poof.
Maybe just a connection failure.
Yeah, maybe. And unfortunately, it looks like that could be the end of Mr. Baca. And unfortunately, our prayer at the beginning, Brad, may not have worked, clearly.
Ooh, that was a Porsche in the background going off as well. I believe that was Robert Hartelode that ran off in the background. I still want to know what happened to Bill here, because you can even see the pray for Bill on the back of the car. I mean, you can't say we didn't give him an effort to give him good luck for this round. I don't know. I don't know what's happened here.
No, he is there. There you go. Gone. So, unfortunately for Bill, it's gone. And that is where the problem lies, unfortunately, as Michael Dione has still got Dela Cruz, still got Hamby, still got Van Roy. I'm going to go on a little bit of a mission and find out if I can find out what happened to Bill there, because he did just disappear.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that is the nature of sim racing. You know, in real life, sometimes it's tire failures, sometimes it's motor failures. In sim racing, sometimes it's the old ISP says they don't want you to win, they don't want you to have a good weekend. And I tell you what, if there is a coffee cup near Mr. Bill Baca, it has probably gotten thrown at a computer monitor by now. Dione and Cruz side by side here as we exit the tri-oval. Is Cruz finally going to get the run here? Cruz around the outside, Dione on the inside. They're side by side through. Again, the outside line has not been working for anyone, though. And he washes out. Cruz, you need to get that Audi on the inside. You need to push Dione wide. You need to get Dione out of the way and push him wide. Don't bump him. I'm not saying a bump and run. This isn't NASCAR. This is GT3s. We are a little bit classier than that. But get on the inside and make him leave you room and have to go to the outside. There's not grip out there. It doesn't work. So Cruz, inside line. If you're listening to the broadcast, I beg of you, inside line.
Yeah, same with Hamby, same with Van Roy. They've got to make that inside work as they come through turn 6. It is a brief little kink before we go into 7. There is 6. There is 7. And now we're on the run through the NASCAR 1 and 2 here at Daytona once more. And Michael Dion with Dela Cruz and Hamby. It's going to be Dela Cruz is going to get the draft. Hamby's not really going to get any of it. You can see his stationary gap at about 5.5. Dela Cruz coming down to about 1.6. He's got to be braver on the brakes if he wants to make it work here. Either that or he's got to try and slot in and get a good run out of the bus stop and try down into turn 1. That's literally all he's got to do lap after lap until he gets through.
Yeah, and I mean, he's only 0.2 of a second back, so this is the closest I have seen this gap the entire time. And if he can't make it work now, I do not know what he can do to make it work. Cruz, you are right there. Just keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. And he's right on the back here as we go down the main straight. The gap now at 1/10 of a second inside line, but you can see Dion defending beautifully. So Cruz is going to look to the outside. Dion's going to hold that inside line and make Cruz look around the outside. He needs to have the pass done through the tri-oval, but look at this. Cruz was thinking about a late dive there, but Dion blocking it off. And for another lap, Cruz is stuck. And the same thing's happening with Hamby and Roy. Roy is stuck. They need to find a way to make something happen. He's got to get the run out of the bus stop, and he's got to find a way to get that inside line going. He's just got to do something different. This is the thing. We're 18 minutes left to go. We're over the halfway point. And at this point, if it's not working for you, figure out something different.
Yeah, that's the thing. Bill, basically, the car wasn't doing what he wanted it to do. He just didn't feel right. He's tired, and unfortunately, he's just not been able to carry on. He feels it was easier just to retire than carry on. So that's why we've lost our resident, I don't really know what to call him, resident love child or something, and that might work. And that's why we've lost Bill this at the beginning of this week. So yeah, so that's why Bill was unfortunately parted.
It's unfortunate. I'm not going to lie. I mean, the thing with Bill, like, I really do like Bill, and I feel bad for Bill as he continues to just, week after week, it feels like we're just reverse commentator cursing him at this point. Week after week, we hope for a good race for Bill. Week after week, it's not happening. Next week, though, I think next week will be Bill's week.
Next week?
I'm saying that now.
Yeah, okay. This is an interesting comment, though. I mean, Daytona is not a driver track, as we can see Johnny Hamby and Dela Cruz. I'll finish off that in a minute. I just want to see if this one pans out. I don't think it's going to. I don't think Hamby's going to have that outside line. He's not going to be able to make it work. He's either got to try to cut back under Dela Cruz, or he's just got to run it and hope for the best. He isn't. It's now just as they were lap after lap here. And Koch and Modric. So Modric is in the front of these two, so he has just cleared Koch. Koch's going to be looking at coming back through again, trying that outside line, but it's not even measured for a cutback, is it? It's just they can't get rotation out of that Porsche. And Bill has said, not a driver's track, it's a roval, it's not a real track.
I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing.
I kind of agree. You know, it's a very NASCAR-based circuit, and it's like Indy. You know, they've just stuck a few corners on the inside, and hey-oh, we're now a road circuit, everyone. Woo! And I kind of agree with him. I've got to agree a little bit, because Indy is, God, as road circuits go, Indy is pants.
Indy is bad. Daytona's amazing. I will leave it there. We will not get into a furious debate.
Is it amazing? Is it really amazing where they've just added turn 2 to 7 in the infield?
I think Daytona is a very, very fun road course, personally. I think there's a lot of good things that Daytona shows. I think it presents a very unique challenge in the way it's set up. And, oh, Cruz, you're finally on the inside, but, oh, why are you braking so early? Why are you letting Dion get the run every time? This is heartbreaking to watch, James. This is heartbreaking at this point. Oh, he's going to dive it back around the outside in the International Horseshoe. Switch back. Come on, get the run. The run. What is Dion doing?
He can't. Cruz, the problem is Cruz goes for the move, he's going to lose the position to Hamby, right? Hamby is close enough. Cruz goes around the outside, Hamby's going to come up the inside and bully him. If Cruz goes for the inside, he's got to make sure he can hold on to that Audi on the inside line. Otherwise, Hamby in the Porsche is going to come around the outside and get him. Although the Porsches have not been strong going out of turn 1, De La Cruz has got to try now. Look at the gap. He's opened up about 3 tenths just coming out of turn 7. He's going to get the draft. Hamby's going to go the other way, which he is doing. He's got to be brave. He's got to literally man up, send it. Jobs are good and have some of that. I'm done. I'm through. I'm on my bike. Because technically, he does look quicker than Dion in front.
He does. And the thing is, Cruz has the pace. I think Cruz has the car. Where if Cruz could clear Dion and get away from him, I think Cruz, by now, if he had cleared him about 15 minutes ago when this battle started, or even 20 minutes ago, you know, I think Cruz would be up with Riley right now and possibly even with Elliott trying to battle. But no, Cruz cannot get past. The Audi has looked so fast, but it's just not making the pass stick. As we go down the tri-oval again, look, he's going to look. He's outside. He's thinking about it. Now cut back. Now cut back. Try to push back to the inside. And he just runs it wide. And then here comes a Porsche up the inside. Now he's got to immediately go defensive. He's so close time after time after time. And for some reason, it's just not sticking. As soon as he goes for a pass and it's not there, like you said, James, he has to immediately start looking in the mirrors and driving defensive. And it's ruining all the momentum. Yeah,
it is. He just can't keep it up. Can't keep the pace up. And if you watch at the moment, Hamby's about 3 tenths, 3.5. As they come around turn 7, it looks like Hamby is losing time coming out of turn 6 and 7, right? It's now up at 5, then it goes out 5.5, 5.5. Now Hamby's not in the draft now. This is straight Cruz Dion. This is where the fight will be. This is all it's going to be. But Cruz has now got to decide with 12 minutes left. Where am I going to send this machine? Am I going to send it round at the in? Am I going to send it round the out? Am I just going to drive straight through the chicane, take the slow down and hope I can get it off by turn 1? I don't know, but he's got to try something different because what he's doing is not working, and repeating what you're doing and getting the same result is bordering on the line of insanity.
I think the literal definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result every time. And as we can see, Cruz is insane right now. Hamby is right there in the mix, though, and here's the thing. I think Hamby's going to get Cruz before Cruz can get Dion. And Roy is just kind of settling back. Roy is just at that slipstream range of just under a second where Roy can start gaining time and getting back in this battle. But look at this. Look, he's right on the rear bumper. Is he going to try this in the horseshoe? Did he finally decide that turn 1 is not the way to do this? And is he going to look for the horseshoe? And look at this. He's going to look inside. He's got a little bit of a nose there.
Dion was
and as
nice.
They run around the horseshoe, man, he's still not close enough.
No, Dion was nice there. He gave him room that he didn't have to give him. And he even jinked to the left because he thought he was going to come through. And maybe that was where Cruz's opportunity was. That one moment, that one opportunity, is he going to capture it or is he not? And at the moment, he's just letting it slip. And that's the problem. He's got to be brave. Can't get him there. You know you can't. You can't get him out of the bus stop. You can't get him into the bus stop. You can't get him down at turn 1. Utilize the horseshoe, nail turn 1, and go from there. You know, I was watching a film the other day about the perfect lap. Do you ever really get the perfect lap where you don't miss a braking point, where you hit every single gear? It just all comes together on one lap, and Cruz has got to make that lap work. You're not going to get it. Slot in. Dion's going to be slow now. He's jeopardized his line. Now go for him. And this is the problem. He's got to now start going for him, Brandon. He's just not there. He's just not on it at the moment as he's fighting with Hamby behind as well.
That was the closest he's been going into the bus stop the entire time. And he pulled out. He looked to try to have the outside that would turn into the inside in the bus stop. This is the closest he's been down the tri-oval too, and at this point he's got to make a decision on what he's going to do. And you can see he's going to pick that outside line yet again and go for it here. This is the furthest ahead he's been, and he misses the braking. He gets Cruz.
It's just gone 4th to 6th. Job's done. 4th to 6th in one foul swoop. Nicholas Patterson and Kevin Adrian, they're running side by side. Adrian on the outside in that red BMW. Modric behind in a Porsche, and Adrian does sweep round just, is it? Nearly? Maybe? Possibly? No, it isn't. So, unfortunately for Adrian, he didn't quite get that line working again, though. And where was he on the race circuit? On the outside. It's not happening.
It's just, they're putting an effort. They're doing so much to try to make this happen. And then there's just moments where it's just, it's frustrating, too. Because the outside can be viable, but you've got to really commit and go through and hit your marks. And like in that incident with Cruz there on the outside and just completely misjudges the braking and misses it. I mean, it hurts sometimes, I'm not going to lie. And now Cruz has to put pressure on Roy, another BMW. The Audi has to find the way around the BMW. I feel like I'm writing the same story over and over.
It is. It's almost getting lines from your school teacher that says, I will try the pass in turn 1, but it will never work. And he's just written it 40 times or 10 times or how many long he's watched it. And then it's now, the last line is, I will now make a pass, attempt to pass in turn 1, miss my breaking point and end up losing 2 places. And unfortunately for De La Cruz, that's exactly what's happened. And you can see, he can see the wash. Why is it? He can see the situation. Diones is defending, and he is defending harder than a Jose Mourinho football team at the moment. Used to run by the rule of park the bus, and that was literally 11 players behind the football. And I say football as in you kick it with your foot and not where you throw it with your hands. And literally, that is what he is doing. He is literally parking that BMW, and he must have such good pace down through the NASCAR corners that he's surviving every single time.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch. And look at that. Cruz is now side by side with Roy there in the background. Look at, oh my gosh, the BMW on the inside, Roy holding on, forcing Cruz to the outside yet again. And look at this. Cruz is going to try to get him on the inside of the speedway, but he's compromising the draft. He's giving up the draft. You're never going to get him there. Just slip to the inside, stay right behind him, and then just dive to the left-hand side going into the bus stop. Take the inside of the first corner of the bus stop, and you'll have him through. Look, stay there, stay there, stay there, stay there, stay there. Now, there you go. Inside line. Be very, very confident on your brakes, and not that confident that you miss out there. You needed to force Roy to take a little bit of a line. But this is the closest he's been. And look at this.
Roy's
Roy
got to slow down. Hamby's got to slow down.
Oh, Cruz, you lucky duck, you.
Go and get your lottery ticket. Cruz had to slow down. Hamby had to slow down. Then Roy had to slow down coming out the chicane. That's allowed Cruz to go forward. The question is how far forward can he go over Michael Dione? That's the thing. Can he get Dione back? Can he break the Hamby draft? And if he does, I reckon he's going to bring Hamby with him anyway. And that's the thing. You're still going to be in the same situation. And with about 3 laps to go, I think he could possibly still be in the same situation. What's happening down here with Modric and Koch and Adrian and Bastarash? Well, these 4 are still fighting out. Again, the other guy, the closest battle on the screen at the moment, are jiggling in groups of 4. So we're trying to keep an eye on them and see how they get on. But there's Sean Bastarash. That's Kevin Adrian in front of us. Take the inside. He's giving you the door. No, 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 no. Oh, Sean. Oh, my gee whiz. Whoa.
Oh.
A little bit of argy-bargy. We got a little beef coming into Daytona. Get your gloves, get your hats, get your protective headgear. Whoa, the old guys getting feisty in their old age. They might not all be old, though, to be fair, Brad. I might have just made a massive presumption.
I mean, it's the league name, so I don't think he made a presumption on anything. But that is what we call Justin Koch letting his displeasures be known in that move there. He did not enjoy being the person that stopped Kevin Adrian there in the BMW, so he very politely just shoved him off the side of the circuit real quick to say, hey, I'm not happy with what you just did to me. Look at this, Roy Roy is right on the back of Hamby here. This is what we need to see. How does this work? Do they also get Cruz? Because look at this, they're all on the back, and Cruz, learning from Dion, defends the inside line, but Roy or Hamby in the Porsche is gonna look for a switchback here, I believe, and let's see how this runs here. And yes, again, Cruz.
He just holds on, doesn't he? I think that's the thing. He has learnt from Hamby, and he's now just got to make sure that he is doing enough to keep. Oh no!
Oh, anything but please. Oh,
Philippe.
Oh my gosh, man.
He was closing it as well. Oh, too fast, bro. Way too fast. Dude, and there is no more the Cruz, Hamby, Dion, Roy, and that was gutted for Philippe de Cruz. He was doing so well, and now unfortunately from hero to zero by the end of turn one.
I mean, you have to give Cruz the A+ for effort. I've never seen a driver push so hard lap after lap, and eventually it was just the tires gave out. I think that was just a case of a little too fast and not enough grip.
There we go. I was going to say the tires didn't give out. It was the right foot of Dela Cruz that gave out. You can't take an Audi into that corner that quick.
Man, that one's painful. I try to prevent bias up here in the booth, James, but I was pulling for Cruz. Because that was going to be a good one if he could get past Dion.
It was, and it just didn't materialize, and now he's in the pits. So Philippe Dela Cruz has just gone into the pits. Adrian has got a massive slowdown. That's going to allow Bastarash to go through, and Brian Hoskins in the other Porsche up 5 places. And Bastarash and Hoskins are side by side. Hoskins got the inside line going into turn 1, and as we've seen, it doesn't work on the outside unless Bastarash is going to try a wonderful cutback, which I don't think he's given enough room for to try and cull it back. He's not going to make it through this time. But Van Roy has got Justin Laxton behind him after all these guys fight now.
Yeah, and Laxton in a Porsche there looks pretty consistent. You can see that Roy defending very, very hard. David Van Roy is doing well. Probably took some notes from Dion about how wide you can make a BMW here around Daytona to ensure that you hold your place. But with some slipstream here, we'll see what Laxton can do. 1:35 on the clock here, James. We're almost through this 40 minutes here at Daytona.
Yeah, we are. We're going to have if I'm not mistaken from Jacob Elliott, he should get one more. We'll go on board just to check that there is a Barney on the right-hand side up in the gantry, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get one more lap. Keep an eye on the right. Up where the green light is in front on the right-hand side, you'll see a little man waving a white flag. However, he doesn't even have a light up there, does old Barney? He's in the dark, and there he is, and it is the last lap of the race. And the only real battle that's going to affect anything is Laxton and Roy, with Bastarash, Hoskins and Koch further down from there. But at the moment, it looks like Jacob Elliott has wrapped this one up, Brad. He's done a great job here again, taking it for the second week in a row, and 2 races out of 2.
Yeah, Jacob Elliott put a bow on it, wrap it up in some gift wrap, put it under a tree, and save it for Christmas, because this has been a dominating run from him all the way through. As you see, he's coming through the West Horseshoe now, and at this point, if he just keeps the tires under it and keeps things moving, doesn't get a little antsy there with the pedal, he should be just fine for a win here. Laxton half a second back on Roy. I don't see anything developing there, and I don't see with Patterson and Koch much developing unless one of them has an error here. But as we hit the speedway banking, I mean, what can you say about Elliott in the Porsche? The Porsche hasn't seemed to be the preferred car this weekend, but Elliott's made it work beautifully. Yeah,
it has. Why is Riley driving so slowly, says Dominic in the YouTube chat. He isn't, mate. Elliott's just done a stellar job. Riley was caught up a little bit earlier on with the battle with Dione. Couldn't quite jump him early enough. Did manage to get past him in the end, and then unfortunately he's just not been able to get near the man in this Porsche. He has just been an unstoppable force, and he's just absolutely nailed it as Jacob Elliott, isn't he, Brad? Really, he's just been incredible. We'll watch him come over the line. The man is going to take 2 out of 2 for this evening. He won the sprint. He's won the feature. It's a Porsche-dominated win here with Riley in second place as they're coming over the line. Great job from all of them there to finish the race in general, Brad, I think. And, well, there were battles that didn't quite work. There were battles that worked. And unfortunately for De La Cruz, it was one that he's probably going to rue the day on.
Yeah, the heartbreak, 2 heartbreaks of the day, Bill Baca and Cruz. Here's something interesting for you, James, and I want you to ponder this for a second. Fastest lap of the session, Sean Riley in the BMW, a 145.4. However, Jacob Elliott is your race winner. Consistency pays off. And Jacob Elliott being very consistent lap after lap paid off. He was consistently running mid-145s. While Riley was faster, he had several laps where he was dropping into 146s. So the consistency paying off for Sean Riley, or for Jacob Elliott, and Sean Riley just a little inconsistent here and there, and that is what opened up those gap times.
As we wait for the last guys to come and finish here. I was talking, beep. He's my co-walker. Okay, well, I'm not going to repeat the little S word you put in there. I know you are, and I've been giving Bill Baca grief all the way through, to be honest. And well, if you've watched the beginning of the broadcast for the first 30 seconds or the first couple of minutes, have a listen there as well. But Scott Carson looks like he's going to be the last of the runners as he's coming over the line. And now we will bring you up the results of the feature race here. And, well, it is currently not Daniel Nance. Can we go back to the beginning? It is Jacob Elliott, your winner. 2 out of 2 for him. Sean Riley in second with Michael Dione in third. Then we've got Johnny Hamby in fourth. David Van Roy in fifth. Justin Laxton in sixth. Then Alan Purser in seventh. Richard Modric in eighth. Nicholas Patterson in ninth. And Justin Koch down in 10th. Brian Hoskins in 11th. Sean Bastarash in 12th. Philippe De La Cruz in 13th in the end. Michael Chaplin 14th. Dan Nans 15th. Eric Gainzel 16th. Adrian 17th. And JT Toyer. What happened to Kevin Adrian to put him down there, mind you? He went into the pit lane. I'm probably guessing that's got something to do with track limits there. Steve Parker Hamilton, the last car on the lead lap with Scott Carlson. Then we go into the 1 lap down. We've got Heath Hollinger, Clark Wolf, Ulrich Eisenberg, Jesus Gonzalez, Robert Hadley, Jonathan Williams, Ryan Marion, and Bill Baca down in 28th. Robert Hartley Road, John Hulett, Cole Mountdrich, and then Russell Crowe, who did not start. So there we go. Dione doing an absolutely incredible job. We will have a chat with the man in the BMW. He was wider than a person eating all the pies was Michael Dione tonight. He took a podium in race 1. He's taken a podium in race 2. He's done an absolutely stellar job at holding on to that position, defending like his life depended on it. Let's bring him in and have a chat with him there now and find out from his perspective. Michael, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Morning, gentlemen. Morning.
Well, afternoon for me, but yeah, good morning to you,
afternoon,
sir.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah, different parts of the world, mate. But look, how was it out there? It looked tough. Was it as tough as it looked?
Yeah. Race 1, heat 1, that first heat there, I was doing well, had a lot of pace. The car felt great. Got into the race and, loaded, got my setup right, or I thought I got it right. And then next thing I know, the car was just was not what I expected. So really struggled, and then defaulted to what I'm pretty darn good at, which is defense. So I was able to keep P3 there.
Yeah, you definitely did. And was there at any point you thought De La Cruz was going to get through? Did you think he was going to get you? Because it looked from our perspective, right? And we were up here in the booth and we were analysing literally everything from De La Cruz. He couldn't get the run out of you at the bus stop. You wouldn't let him have the inside line going down into turn 1. He couldn't go round the outside. He couldn't get it into the horseshoe. did you just plant your car in the right place? And that's where his frustration came to it in the end by him making a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. That's my strategy when I play defense. When I know I don't have a car that can, push to pass, from the next position. I know that I know exactly where to park the car in every turn, where to cover the apex, where I need to position the car for the next turn. Especially when I know he's going to have a run behind me. That Audi has a little bit of pace, so I know keep it midline, especially going on the bus stop there. That's my biggest defense position because I know that there's really no place to go inside or outside without him risking wrecking his car. So, again, sometimes the best defense is the best offense.
Yeah, absolutely. You've had a great night, a second and a third. Nice little points haul for the championship, surely.
Yeah, I've not had a good run the last few weeks. I've had some, difficulties getting practice time in, but I think looking forward, I should be able to stack some points and get back up there and see where I can push this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, stellar job from you there, Michael. Great job. 2 podiums, a chunk of points is going to give you a nice little boost in the championship. Is there anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I just want to shout out my family. I always appreciate them giving me the time and no grief in my Sunday morning races.
Yeah, absolutely. I do fully agree there as well. Michael, thanks so much there, buddy. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week.
All right.
Take
Thank
care.
you. See you, gentlemen.
Right, and next up on the list, the man with J in his name. Now, I'm going to have a guess. Is it Elliot? Is it Hamby? I'm probably guessing it's Mr. Elliot who took the win in race 1. He took it in race 2. He popped up on a Sunday morning. He grabbed his Nan. He stuck her in the Porsche and said, Nan, we're off for a Sunday drive. And that's what he did around Daytona. Jacob, welcome in.
How we doing today, guys?
I'm all right, mate. Do me a favour, son. Put your name, full name. It makes it so much more easier for me.
I'll think about it.
Oh, hey, dude, look, we just, props to you. You did it. You made the Porsche work where others couldn't. You nailed it on the track. You went out on your little Sunday morning, got your coffee and your little thermal, and off you went. And that was it. See you later. Look at my back end. I'm gone.
Yeah, so we had a really good Daytona 24 set earlier on in the year, and we just adjusted the fuel for this race, but it was the exact same set. We had a winning set. Fortunately, we got caught up in the Daytona 24 and couldn't capture the win, but set was really solid. I'm just glad that we were able to hold off, or some of us were able to hold off those BMWs, but those BMWs are no joke.
No, I agree. They were looking strong here. Riley was, if he hadn't taken so long to get past Michael, who was literally building walls at every possible opportunity, he literally must have had a builder in the back of that car because he was defending like a trooper. I mean, if he hadn't got past, if Sean hadn't taken so long to get past, I reckon he could have been giving you a little bit of hassle because them BMWs were quick here. And was you worried about them going into race 2?
I was. So, you kind of look at the tracks and you can kind of pick out which spots, which cars are going to be strong at. And I knew our strength in the Porsche was going to be the infield. And you can see I would pull about a half second on Sean in the infield, and then he would pull back about 3/10 on the straightaway and bus stop. That Porsche was just really, really stable through the bus stop, and he was able to attack it a lot harder.
Yeah, I think. But then again, the problem was the BMWs were attacking it, but the more they were attacking it throughout the race, the more slowdowns we saw on the BMWs. Adrian got one, Ben Roy got one, and they were starting to make taking that bus stop too much, because they were pushing the boundaries of it. But overall, for you, you're pulling points in, and I think that's where you've got to make that gain. You were coming in 21 points back, and you now have taken more points out of Mr. Hamby going forward, who didn't have a great Daytona.
Yeah, so I mean, that was another thing that I was watching. Was where was Hamby at? You know, me and Hamby were going back and forth in the points. I did not want Hamby to get fastest lap. That's 3 points, and then I wanted as many cars between me and Hamby. So when I saw Fleet crash, I knew that was 2 points to Hamby. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just kind of putting as many cars as possible between me and Hamby.
I agree, and Steve Parker Hamilton, who was in the race, has just summed it up for me in conjunction. He's in one of the Porsches, one of them who couldn't get it to work. 4 slowdowns, a stop and hold penalty, and miles off the pace. Thank God that's over.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the stop and go penalties and the time penalties. One of the things that I preach to the Team 53 guys is a risk versus reward. What are you going to gain from it? You know, are you gonna gain a spot by cutting that corner that little bit, or are you gonna lose 3 spots but with the time penalty?
Yeah, but you're better off, I think, taking it clean, or as clean as. You don't want to go through it like my grandma would in a Robin Reliant, you know, just poodle around it. But you got to be a little bit sensible. But for you, again, absolutely stunning racing, buddy. We look forward to seeing how you can get on next week, of course. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, dear sir, here today?
Yeah, definitely. Shout out Team 53 and all the guys over there, my wife, and then all of our sponsors. And of course, you guys. An amazing broadcast again.
Mate, you should watch the first 30 seconds. I loved it.
I knew when Dion dive bombed me, you guys are going to get a kick out of that one.
Yeah. We're going on to Bathurst next week, though. How's the Porsche going to be there with its slippery back end? Just really quickly before we let you go.
You know, we had a pretty good Porsche at the 12 hours of Bathurst, so I think you guys will find out how we'll do.
Oh, that's the man, the myth, the legend. He's got 2 wins out of 2. He's going to change his name for me, though, come next week, so I can actually tell it's Jacob in the booth. Have a good one, buddy. I'll catch up with you soon.
Adios, amigos. Have a good day.
Well, there you go, Brad. Michael seemed happy. It was a bit of a tough one with Michael, because I wasn't really sure if he was happy or if he wasn't, or maybe that was just his tone and mannerism when he was talking to us. I wasn't quite sure, but I'm hoping he was happy.
I think he's happy. I think he'll be happy with a P3. Obviously, you know, could have been a little bit more, but defending that BMW and keeping it as wide as he did, I think he needs to be happy with a P3. Jacob Elliott is really happy with the win, though. And, yeah, next week's an off week, and then we go to Mount Panorama on the 7th of April. So, are we looking for 3 for 3 on Jacob Elliott, or can a BMW, a Ferrari, can Felipe de Cruz get a little lucky? What? Or hey, here's a proposal. Bill Baca wins Mount Panorama.
I tell you what, if Bill makes it through one of the races at Mount Panorama with his car in full gear, full equipment, I will donate. What should we say? I will donate $20 to a charity of Bill's choice, right? So if he can make it through, let's say both. It's both a little bit harsh. I tell you what, if he can make it through, let's skip the sprint. If he can make it through the feature race next time out at Bathurst with all of his car intact, I will donate $20 to the charity of his choice. If he doesn't, he's got to donate $20 to the charity of my choice.
Okay, I feel like we should maybe
tell him that.
Let's tell him that. I'm sure Bill will be willing to take that challenge.
Okay. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us. I'm off to go and watch the highlights of the Formula One Grand Prix before we have a broadcast a little bit later on when we do 5 classes, 60 cars for FTR, and then we've got the IGP Super Formula Lights after that. So come along, join us for that one. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, and as always, pray for Bill. But for now, take care. Have a great week, and you never know. We might see you on the track sometime. Good night.